Warning. Warning. This is not a test. This is not a test.
They sell our souls, parasitic cannibals. Just as things you dug your grave. We will take till there's nothing left. Break, now we're seeing red. Burned us once, but never again. Turning slowly into the living dead. Out there's hella pay. Technicolor rock and roll, creature feature horror show. Flash to the bone, leave the world exposed. Tested fate, you dug your grave. We will take till there's nothing left. Break, now we're seeing red. Static, psychosomatic. Take till there's nothing left. Break, now we're seeing red. Burned us once, but never again. Turning slowly into the living dead. We woke up inside a plane. Into the living dead. Drop it.
From the virtual cockpits to you, get ready to experience the peak of iRacing skill. We welcome you to the OB Builders Cup Series. Prepare for breathtaking speed, full commitment, and all-out action. The show starts now.
Tonight, it's a race under the lights as we make our way to iRacing's virtual EchoPark Speedway. It's time to count down a green and get ready for tonight's action here in the OB Builders Cup Series. Tonight, the drivers will race for 163 laps in the Crazy Chuck's Purple Jesus Moonshine 250. You can see it here on Fallen TV. I'm Justin Prince. Alongside the booth for tonight's coverage is Jeremy Miller. Our producer this evening is DJ Line using cameras provided by Whiplash Sim Cams. Tonight's going to be an intriguing one as we continue our stretch into the final third of the regular season. But it's Super Speedway racing under the lights. It's a return to Atlanta, our second trip here to EchoPark, Jeremy.
Yeah, this is starting off the stretch of some wild card races. Super Speedway tonight, followed by 2 road courses the next 2 weeks. So you can see a lot of stuff shake up in the playoff race, and going to be an interesting race tonight as we could get a very unexpected winner.
Could cause a lot of scrambling, to say the very least. This track has recently received updates, remember, on the iRacing service. That includes a name change to EchoPark Speedway. It's been around since 1960 here in Hampton, Georgia. It's had a lot of configurations, most recently, of course, being its Super Speedway build at 24 degrees of banking around this facility. And these drivers expect to have some difficulties to make some moves, all while 10 drivers, Jeremy, have punched their tickets to the postseason following Pocono.
Yeah, 10 different winners so far this season. You saw last week Matt Cox, the 4th driver, add his name to the multi-winners of this season. Going to be seeing if anybody else can punch that as well this week, or if somebody down there towards that cutoff can punch their ticket to the playoffs. As if you're on the outside looking in, this might be your best opportunity this season to get that win.
Right now, Paul Gallimore on the cut line. George Smeets is 17 points out. For the cut, the stage is 40-81-63. But let's talk about Pocono, because that happened last time out. We have a recap to look at from the RS Button Boxes 225. Matt Cox started off the day picking up the pole award, brought to you by All About Sheet Metal. In turn, more than 20-plus drivers made their way to the Pocono Mountains, where it was a race filled with attrition. Things started off well from the jump, at least at the start and finish line. But by the opening few laps, drivers started spinning in one common place, Jeremy. Turn 1 in multiple different ways.
The widest corner on the track, drivers definitely think they can get away with the most. It's where you see the most aggressive driving, which is, I think, what you're seeing with a lot of these crashes. People putting their nose in spots that they shouldn't be, but it wound up with Matt Cox winning the first stage.
Oh wow, we started off stage 2 with a spin for Nicholas Atwood into the wall. Others continue to struggle out of the corner. Coffee up front got loose, slammed into the barrier, collected multiple competitors. The big one, while Matt Cox kept up the speed to win stage 2. Things got even worse for some as the attrition continued all night long. Gallimore and Davis, for example, caused a stack of at least 5, 6, 7, 8 cars. Others like Atwood continue to get loose in that section. All while some drivers started to get technical gremlins. That included Norfray pulling off and hitting the wall in turn 3. But things got worse for some like Wyatt, all while Matt Cox kept things clean up front. A dominating day for car 32 as Matt Cox picked up the victory over Tim Wortman Jr. and Nigel Christensen. Alex Coffey did recover from damage repair from his big incident. The top 4 with Johnny Shade in the 5th position. That sparked what was an interesting race overall, Jeremy, in terms of the attrition. It was a long one, but in the end,
From the
Cox had
virtual
the speed.
cockpits to
The OB Builders Cup Series.
Yeah, it was just one of those races that we usually expect to see out of Matt Cox. Hasn't really been able to put them together from flag to flag much for the season, that being the second win, but finally was able to just absolutely dominate one, and I think that's the kind of momentum he can definitely keep carrying forward moving into the rest of the summer here.
Lights are on here at EchoPark Speedway for tonight's festivities. Qualifying just coming to a conclusion. We're just about all set to see who picked up that All About Sheet Metal pole award tonight. 30 cars in Atlanta for Crazy Chuck's Purple Jesus Moonshine 250. And an interesting pole sitter, Jose Medina, sets the pole over Tim Wortman Jr. First time up front with the pole award, Medina, this season. Then it's Matt Cox starting in 3rd. Alex Coffey will start in 4th in the namesake for the race's sponsor paint scheme. Row number 3 features Captain Ruff, one of his highest starting positions of the year. Shane Wyatt starting in 6th. 7th spot goes the way of Ryan Huff. Paul Gallimore start alongside him in the 8th position. Rounding out the top 10, Johnny Shade and Brendan Bikey will start in the top 10, Jeremy.
Tim Harper starts off in 11th tonight, joined by Corey Moore in P12. Our 13th starter will be Blaine Wilson. To his outside, Nicholas Atwood, after a few wrecks last week, looks to rebound in 14th. 15th tonight will be Justin Belmonte in the 60, joined by Chris Davis in the 74. Our 17th starter tonight is going to be Greg Carr in the 25, and joining him is Kenny Coppola in the 77. And rounding out our top 20 tonight will be Jeffrey Taylor in the 9 and Nick King in the 12.
21st goes the way of Caden Norfray. Jamison Middleman starts alongside him. You know how tight the margins were? You see the difference, just under 2/10 for those drivers. Sean Rogers, the same case. Brandon Fetterplay starts in 24th tonight in the 34 car. Then it's Nigel Christensen towards the back. Matt Mackin looking to try and find his way to the point in 26th. Aaron Matthews did not set a time. Alongside him, Kyle Holden. And rounding out the field, Barry Sanders and Jared Clark. That's a look top to bottom at the running order here tonight. Let's take a look at that race analysis. As mentioned, stages 40, 80, then a run to the finish of 163 laps for the checkered. Tire sets, we have about 5 available in the pit lane here tonight. Should be comfortable on those. This is an open setup series, remember, when it comes to this campaign. AASM pole award going to Medina, though. That's a shock. A different manufacturer chosen tonight, Jeremy. It worked for him.
Yeah, it's big for Medina. He's had some struggles as of late, so it's good to see him get a pole and see if he can hold on to that position tonight and maybe find himself in victory lane celebrating after 163 laps here.
What are your keys to a good race here tonight, especially knowing how difficult it's going to be to make passes in this package?
Yeah, getting lucky and restarting on the bottom is going to be a big thing. If you're restarting the outside lane, you're going to be scrambling to find your way back to the inside as quick as you can. The outside lane is going to fizzle out quickly if it's anything like what I've experienced here this past week, and I'm expecting a single file train around the bottom, so make your passes when you can and definitely try to get that track position.
Still have one more pace lap. The track conditions look like this, by the way. It is 80 degrees Fahrenheit tonight. 77 is the air temperature, humidity at 65%. So pretty cool temperatures on the racetrack. Good amount of grip under the lights fully for this event. Who do you think is going to come away with the win tonight and why, Jeremy?
I'm thinking it's going to be... I'm going to go Matt Cox back-to-back. If he's going to carry momentum forward, I think that team's going to work together really well to control this race with the track position, but really could be anybody.
Could be an interesting night to see if we have an upset winner, or better yet, if anyone else is able to build on the momentum built up from this season. It's been an intense campaign so far. We're happy with us for tonight's coverage of the OB Builders Cup Series here from EchoPark. Of note, 2 drivers did start from pit road. Paul Gallimore and Brandon Bikey both electing in their Beast Mode performance cars to start from their pit boxes. They try and keep things safe. They were both due to start on the outside. Interesting choice. See if it works out with the caution to be able to catch up to the pack. Field now making its way down the front straightaway to the Simrap Market start zone. Field in the hands of Jose Medina. Medina needing to get evened up with Wortman Jr. has struggles to the restart. Green flag is out. We're underway from EchoPark.
A little bit of a disorganized restart. You see Matt Cox quickly to the back bump of that 48, pushing that inside line forward. Those guys on the top need to figure it out quickly. You got to get organized, try to push forward, or find your hole on the bottom.
Jose Medina just got a black flag. That's because he did not go when the green flag flew. So, that is a drive-through under green for the 48. Race control's not cleared it yet. So Medina may have just cost himself here. He leads a lap, but will have to come down.
A terrible mistake by the driver to the 48. One of the worst tracks at the serve a penalty on the green. He's going to have to enter pit road down the back stretch here, hold the apron all the way through 3 and 4, and then hit pit speed down the front stretch. He's going to lose a ton of time and possibly multiple laps serving this penalty.
There he goes as he now peels down. Everybody else rides the bottom in the choo-choo train. To the pole sitter. Backed up, then went in the midst of the start zone, but couldn't go when Barney flew through it. That opens up the door for Matt Cox now to be your race leader. Ruff trying to battle for second. The outside seems to be working well, surprisingly right now. There's a lot of momentum up there.
Fresh tires as of right now, plus possibly not as comfortable of a pushing situation on the bottom could definitely be helping that. As the tires wear, the bottom should become stronger and stronger, but they're making it work right now, and Tim Wortman's clear for the lead up there.
Doesn't take it yet. Works with Coffee and Wyatt, the Warrior Racing Machine, working with the Diggy Sports Machines. The top 3 all clear themselves, nearly the top 4, none of them wanting to move down. And the tough thing is, all week last week, we seen if you rode to the outside, you just couldn't get it to work. This race almost looks like the old package with the way it started off.
Yeah, right now the top is definitely looking strong. I just don't know how long this is going to last. The right front will start to wear, and typically that's when the bottom starts to come in a little more with this car at this track. But right now, not going to question the method when they're moving forward as much as they are, but I think eventually these guys are going to have to look to get into the bottom line.
Wortman Jr. elected to go to the bottom line. Alex Coffey drives by him to the point. So Coffey takes over the race lead. Cox now to pushing duty. So far, by the way, it's very early, but Brandon Fetterplace already has driven himself to the top 10. That's how quickly the 34s made up ground to the high side as part of those cutting forward. Everybody else trying to sort themselves out here. There's a look at Fetterplace. Just able to slice and dice already.
Made some good moves there in the 34, finding his way forward. Both lines right now still working very strong. This is the best time for the 34 to making moves with that. There's no disadvantage to that top, so he's able to find his momentum moving forward still.
There's no place to take the run except keep on riding Fetterplace, risking it a little bit high up the track. Very early, but already your biggest mover by a decent margin. Jarrett Clarkson also moved his way for the back to the mid-pack.
Notice that lap, the top starting to get a little bit tighter. Some guys starting to push, and that advantage is gone. Wortman back to the inside of Coffey now side by side. The inside might start to inch forward here as we start to get a little further into this run, and those right front tires start to give up some of their grip.
Right now, keeping the challenge up so far is that outside line. It's starting to equalize more and more. Cox has been doing a solid job pushing Wortman Jr., and we've seen Wortman Jr. in the conversation as of late for victories. Tonight, with a different paint scheme yet again, seems to be making it work in the Warrior Racing car. Some of his teammates have already lost the draft.
If you keep running as well as Tim Wortman Jr. has been running on a weekly basis, you're eventually going to find victory lane. So that 83 would not be a surprise to find victory lane here tonight, and I'm starting to pull for it more and more every week. He deserves a winner race, and hopefully he can get that done for himself tonight.
Tonight's the type of racetrack where anybody can come into a race win if they position themselves right, while also having a good car. Well, Junior seems to have a good car at least. Here we go, already 10 laps complete out of the 40. Wyatt has not backed off pushing Coffey. Things working well when it comes to this line. The dig machines working well in tandem.
That's one of the things keeping that top as strong as it's been, is they're very organized right now with 4 teammates lined up there. They're able to control exactly how they want to right now with the runs and the timing of the pushes. You see Wyatt getting through the back bumper of his teammate into the corner that time. They're going to get a good run down the front straightaway here with that.
Run. Coffey gets the edge ahead again. We are starting to see that bottom line make a lot more inroads compared to the start. There isn't as big of runs compared to the start of the run. Now coming out of turn 4 in particular. Wortman Jr. actually clear for the race lead. Coffee be able to get a boost around to get the edge of the stripe? The answer is no. Wortman Jr. gets the edge, and it looks like the light switch has flipped here to the bottom line.
Yeah, definitely starting to struggle a little bit there if you're one of the cars on the outside. It's falling back now. 2 cars on the bottom gotten clear. That's only going to keep growing. So now this is where you got to get really desperate. Maybe start side drafting down there, try to create a hole for yourself to get down to the bottom. Because if you don't, you're going to go backwards.
There's not too many holes right now to even dive into. Already the top 2 clear. Third ready to make their way forward. Give effort and credit to Shane White in that second inline tick car. He won here at Atlanta in what was a much different package during the springtime. 23 machine continuing to push, but right now has looked very solid early on in this one. Obviously want to replicate what he did earlier and try and get wins in 2 different draft models.
Yeah, definitely gonna be looking to do that. I'll say, why we changed the package, I do still feel most of the strong draft track racers are still strong with this model. It's just a little bit different in how you have to go about it, but those who are good at it are still good at it, as the principles remain the same. It's just a lot more difficult to make those moves, which can actually make the cream rise to the top a little bit more when it comes to the different skill gaps at this type of a racetrack.
Especially since it's not just about the speed here. Tire wear that comes into play. These cars like to sway up the racetrack. The wear falls through. There it is there. Up half a lane. If you push too hard on the throttle per se, you might open up the door for someone to freight train you 3 wide. So easy to just lose your line here, it seems, Jeremy.
Yeah, definitely need to be careful. Another thing is, if you're on the bottom, you got to protect your left rear. Down this front stretch here, you can see in the trial, with the line that they run, there's a little bit of an opportunity for somebody to try to rifle under you and force you up the racetrack, and that can cause a lot of instances as well. The drivers that get forced out of line don't want to give up that gap so easily, but our top has resurged a little here as the bottom's struggling to stay closed up. Kevin Ruff falling a little off of Matt Cox right now.
Outside coming back again. Traffic coming up, staying high, says Jose Medina. This is 48, go all the way up to the wall. Looks like Coffee trying to side draft aggressively. These drivers trying to lean away from the wall. Medina drove himself into the wall, letting everybody go.
And there it is for Jose Medina, 2 laps down after qualifying on the pole. You lost the lap with the drive-through, and then you also come out of the draft when you exit pit road, so you end up going another lap down pretty quickly. He should be able to follow into the line here somewhere and keep the draft this time around, but 2 laps down this early in the race, his night could already be over depending on how the cautions fall.
So Medina, at the very least, attempted to hook onto the draft. So far, 26 cars are in the main group. Paul Gallimore, Brandon Bikey, Nick King, all are outside the toe of the field by 10 seconds. Medina looks like he's going to be also in that same boat here, not able to keep up after setting the fastest qualifying time. There's a look at these 3. 1 Warrior Racing car, 2 BMP machines, just waiting for a caution.
Yeah, Medina made a mistake there. He should have been able to keep with that pack with this draft model. He didn't really draft the outside line hard enough to get his momentum up for when he would pull in behind the inside line and fell off of him. But he might have actually just barely hung on to that draft. I do think he was able to keep touch with this pack, actually, but almost could have been really bad for him. That could have led to him going 3 laps down toward the end of the stage if he wasn't able to stay in the group.
Meanwhile, heart of the field looks like this. Right now, amongst those in that mix is Jerry Clark. Able to make up a lot of ground so far. Speaking of which, that outside line got a lot of ground picked up this time by, and it's gone to the edge yet again. So it's looking like the numbers are there for the speeds to stay where they need to be. But the outside a click again. Already the top three already just about clear again up high.
Yeah, but this is showing me that those dig cars are really strong. I think we also have a little bit of a cooler track temp right now that is allowing that outside line to work a little bit better than it has most of the week here at Atlanta, or as I should say, EchoPark Speedway. But those cars are very strong. I think if they got lined up on the bottom what they are on the top right now, they might be able to just push away on that bottom lane and keep the outside lane from being able to do anything.
There's a look at the front. Coffee so far has led 12 of the first 23 laps here at EchoPark. And it's almost like the old style approach to the package with the draft coming up from third in line, Corey Moore. Trying to use the third car to push the second car to push the first car. Try and maintain momentum, go from there. Just utilizing the speed to keep each other flowing ahead seems to be the key here.
Yeah, definitely keeping that momentum up. They're pushing really well, just so well organized, which is easier to do with teammates. You don't have any teammates on the bottom there. They're all different cars from one another, so those drivers probably aren't as comfortable running together. These people have been pushing all week together like this, and officials and anywhere else they've been racing, so they have a lot of experience doing this, and it's showing right now on the top as they're really trying to pull all four of themselves clear.
And has not been able to be done. They've been able to clear 3, but they haven't been able to clear Timothy Harper in his Legacy Motor Club look to be able to make it 4. All right, past the midway point of the stage so far. This race so far has been pretty racy. I was gonna say, in a lot of cases, it's been about trying to keep things calm, trying to wait. These drivers not afraid to at least see if they can battle it out a little bit. They don't have to worry about green flag stops until the third stage, though. So that's got to be part of the thought process, that you don't have to dive down pit road here until the stage is end.
Yeah, definitely going to be running to the end of the stage here. Not going to be flipping any stages here. You'd lose laps doing that. So these guys are going to run this to the end. They're racing for those positions. We're getting close to the end of the stage. Lap 40 is when they throw that first stage yellow. So going to be points paying at that point.
See Johnny Shade modulating the throttle right now, trying to be careful in his part of the pack. Right now holding on to 5th in line at the bottom, about the top 10. Just maintaining his rhythm. That's got to be the main focal point for one of those dig cars that are not a part of the train up on the high side. And that's kind of the tough thing, is those on the bottom are kind of locked where they need to be running here. There's no place for them to dive up if they want to make some passes. You just have to go along for the ride.
Yeah, it's just gridlocked. Even on the top, you're really gridlocked right now as well, because you're not going to be able to make the third lane do anything. So you just are where you are in line right now, and you got to hope your line progresses better than the other one, and that's how you can get your track position. Otherwise, you're going to have to try to pull something off in pit road to gain track position, that or just get something good on a restart, because as you can see, when we established a green flag run here, there's just nowhere for anyone to go. They are just stuck in their lines.
Edge this time goes to Wortman Jr., by the way. And I will say, paint scheme pops tonight, taking inspiration from Trackhouse Racing in terms of the paint scheme here this evening. It's a different look compared to his normal runs, at least, but hey, there's a reason it works in real life. You just got to make sure he avoids the cease and desist in terms of from Red Bull.
Yeah, good looking car for Tim here. He's gotten that lead, starting to pull back forward on the inside right now. The inside, these guys get organized every once in a while, and they can push forward and get out ahead of that outside line, but the outside's just been able to stay organized more consistently and get those runs out forward for them. Right now you can see Coffee drawing even there down the back straightaway. They'll pull back ahead on the inside through the corner. You see Kevin Ruff really tight back there. That car is definitely struggling with the handling for the 14.
Couple drivers are starting to struggle with handles. Remember, with less than 10 laps to go here in the stage, We might see people get snapped loose out of turn 2. That was a commonplace in the hotter conditions in the officials last week in some league races. Jeremy Taylor just recently had the wiggles. We also had Jameson Minimus miss the bottom. Some of these drivers are right now going to have to be careful that these cars don't just snap around on them all of a sudden.
Yeah, definitely can get a little bit loose, but definitely going to be struggling a lot more with the tight, especially in the dirty air with the right front tires just wearing out. That's what we see with the 14, and that's what's hurting the bottom line right now, really, is Kevin Ruff is just not able to keep close to the cars in front of him, and a lot of the momentum with the Cup car when you're drafting is generated by that third car being close to the second car, so that's helping the outside. As you can see, the 19 struggling a little bit there on the outside, Corey Moore, but he's able to stay closer as there's a crash in the back.
Caution flag is out, and there it is. We're wondering when some people would start making mistakes, and that comes now. Holding amongst those around on the front straightaway, and it puts us under yellow for the first time tonight after what was contact, I believe, between Middle Miss and Northray that spins things around. See your RS Bud Box replay.
Saw Tim Harper involved there in the fence, holding around, and close moment there, but he got the outside wall hard. It's going to be heavy damage to 59, but unfortunate for the guys running back there is, they were all probably just trying to sit in line and get to the end of that stage, and somebody makes a mistake, and it causes a big wreck for those guys.
I did mention Minimus had been missing the bottom as of late. Second time missing the bottom. Bit of air between the two of them. And that collects several cars. Belmonte picks up some damage. Chris Davis was sent down pit road for a slide. And that stacks everything up here. You see, once again, Northray able to keep things straight, though, at least. No spinnings from him, despite the damage.
Unfortunately for Medina, he was involved in that caution, so he won't get a free pass. Justin Belmonte just wrecked under yellow, so that's something to look at. Right now, it looks like Matt Mackin just drove through the 60 car under caution, and they wrecked on turn 1.
In the word of Belmonte, unbelievable. Under caution, why are you driving into me? It's like a train wreck at 55 miles an hour.
Didn't see much of a reason for that, and two others piling in there as well. So I don't think that was intentional. It looked more so like just somebody not paying attention, but just not a good situation to have happen under a caution, of course.
The drivers attempting to flip the stage here, coming up towards 5 to go in the stage under caution. Coffey, Warman Jr., Wyatt, Cox, Moore, Ruff, Harper, Rogers, Huff, Wilson are in the top 10. We just heard a call for the inside now being picked up by the dig cars. So, gonna be a quick sprint for stage 1 here, Jeremy. Only about 4 laps to the side stage points.
Yeah, nobody flipping the stage here is shocking to me. This was a great opportunity for somebody who is not, maybe didn't have track position to find it. And nobody took it there, so we're all going to be pitting at the end of the stage. I definitely would have expected somebody to flip it here, as you see Medina in pit road, but he's 2 laps down just for hair damage. So, opportunity for somebody to turn their night around, but nobody wanted to make the call.
Dan Peel's down once again, as mentioned, was involved in contact. Jar Clark has already lost a lap, getting repairs done, like going to be more. So 2 laps down for the 48 already. Field has now taken 1 to green, by the way, as we get ready here. And there's a lot of people getting chippy on the radio. People are not lined up deeper in the line, but up front they stay set to go. The Simrat Market restart zone. We did have a couple, I believe, attempt to flip it here, Jeremy. Gallimore, Bikey, and Davis were the only people coming to pit road.
Okay, so yeah, it's definitely a good call by those guys. They're going to get up front, and a couple laps on their tires here are going to be nothing. So I like that call. I'm glad at least somebody did it. Was we missed the pit stops there. I didn't see that. Definitely going to be a good move for those people.
Two of those drivers had not been in the main pack. Here's the Simrap Market restart zone here. Green, 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 and they're pushing on the inside, and tire spinning on the outside. Caution flag is out. This might end the stage. They're still wrecking.
Paul Gallimore just T-boned Arca braked his teammate. Matt Cox was going to be okay, and his night's over. That's very unfortunate for him. I don't know what went on there in the 11. He just, I guess, never saw it and never lifted and went full speed into him.
Cox was the one who had the tire spin up front. This is the stage for race control, and wow. Yeah, he was cleared, stopped on the top of the racetrack.
Required repairs for 32 night is over, so that's obviously a silly mistake on his part with the tire spin, but he was going to be okay, didn't hit anything, and just there was no evasive action taken there. 11 must not have been paying attention.
There's the meatball flag coming across the ticker. Fires up. Bam. Welcome to the door. All this was while Nigel Christensen got turned just after the caution trigger as well. There he goes trying to zip around. Got turned around by Aaron Matthews. So the stage ends early. Alex Coffey, Shane Wyatt, Tim Wortman Jr., Corey Moore, Timothy Harper, Kevin Ruff, Ryan Huff, along with Roger Shade Wilson in your top 10. And we might actually restart technically before the stage was originally scheduled to end here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out with the lap. Probably be restarting on 40 with the way this is looking right now. Something else to note, though, Gallimore, one of the drivers on our cut line battle, so that's a really big moment for him, as he's got a ton of down on his race machine as well after that, so he needs to hopefully, he's praying right now that he has not enough that he's going to be able to keep in the track, because if he doesn't, he's going to be in for a long night. But Bikey stayed out here, so he'll assume the lead as these people all take 4 tires.
So off and away they go after pit stops. Coffey over Wyatt, Portman Jr. and Ruff. Brandon Bikey, as expected, does stay out here. So we're under caution. Stage 2 coming up. You're watching the Crazy Chuck's Purple Jesus Moonshine 250, the OB Builders Cup Series from EchoPark.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Drop it.
Welcome back to EchoPark as we get ready for stage 2. Set to restart things for their 40-lap run up to lap 80. Brennan Bikey pit on the previous caution and things worked out perfectly. EMP machine, after running in the 20s and out of the range of the pack all stage 1, come to the Simrat Market restart zone as the control car. He did have Gary Moore attempting that same strategy before the crash. Now he's off and away. Green, green, green. Back underway. Tim Wortman Jr. and Alex Coffey side by side behind him.
Great watch there on the outside for Bikey. He's going to pull down to the bottom now in front of Coffey. So bans that high line for now, gets down in front of the 54. He's going to try to lead that inside down the back straightaway here.
Now boxed in a little bit. Bikey being pushed now by a 3-car tandem. How powerful those lines can get. And Coffey, as expected, brings Shane Wyatt with them. They want the lead. They want it immediately. Both of them pull back at the 27th fender.
Strong move from those two teammates there. Got a little bit shuffled with each other. Couldn't quite get the momentum to roll as quick as they wanted to, but they're going to clear them here down the backstretch. Looks like they're both going to stay on the top, though. I think they could have gotten down there, but they're choosing to run the outside line. That's going to allow Bikey to roll back forward here on the bottom.
A little bit chippy on the radio, I believe. Oh, wow. Top two are clear if they want it. We know they wanted to stay high side all of last run. So now it's about pacing themselves once again in terms of track position as the stage goes on here. Right now, Sean Rogers amongst those that is up on that high line for BMP, by the way. It's gone from 23rd to 6th. We know how fast Rogers has been as of late. Now he's in the conversation in the blue 44.
Yeah, definitely moving forward right now for Rogers. He was hanging out there in the outside on the last run, too, behind those BMP cars, so just trying to find his way forward. He's a little bit further forward this run. We'll see if he can make that work positively for himself right now. As that outside hasn't really moved forward. Those two teammates got up there. They were both clear, but now Bikey's pulled back even on the bottom. Maybe they should have taken it when they had it.
Was an option to them, not really anymore. See a lot of gaps forming up at the bottom. That inside line has a lot of gaps of a car length or more formed up. Like car gapped out to a couple. Some of the other gaps built up. They aren't pushing that well on the inside. They aren't stuck together like you would expect.
Yeah, definitely not pushing quite as well as they could be, but it's still maintained. I definitely think it's a stronger line. And Coffey and White probably learning from moving to the top here at the bottom might have been the move they could have gotten to the bottom. I think with how organized those two have been together, at the bottom would be even stronger with them leading it. As Kevin Ruff right now in the back of Bikey, that's one of the guys we've been seeing struggling with handling. You can see it right there. It just doesn't quite stay to the back bumper, the 27 through the turns. Neither does Wyatt on the outside that time, though, so it'll keep him pretty even here down the front straightaway.
Even Ruff attempting to push forward the 27. By the way, you've seen there, Jarrett Clark has returned to the car after 10.5 minutes worth of repairs. And for the fender, some of these cars in the fight, it's from Ruff. Right now, all the air continuing to flow as well as it can over that spoiler. You have to make sure get the setup right to make sure that balance to that spoiler is played out so you can make sure you're fast in the draft.
Definitely playing the aero game strong. Not too much side draft right now, though. The outside giving the bottom a lot of space. Yeah, it's something that can really change the complexion of the way the lines are working, too. If the top gets a little bit closer to the bottom, punches them down to put air on those spoilers to slow those guys down. But right now, everybody's minding their P's and Q's, and the lines are staying really even.
Looking at the 24 machine. This is Ryan Huff. He's one of the few, in fact, he is the only driver in the entire field outside maybe Johnny Shade that's gone nowhere. Right back where he started. Oh, hold on, we just had an issue in the pack. Somebody just had a technical blip. And the radio just started going off because the 14 became invisible for half the field.
Yeah, that's seriously problematic when you're in the front of a line and you're blinking. That's really going to hurt the line. You can see that at the top really moving forward. And now with that, this might be another opportunity for Wyatt and Coffee to both clear themselves, but the bottom gets a little reorganized here. I may not quite get it.
The pack getting spooked out a little bit, but they keep on racing. Ruff continues to do his thing, trying to push the BMP entry as far up as that driver can do so. Right now, all but a couple cars are in this pack. Kyle Holden, Jose Medina, and Jarrett Clark, the only ones not in this draft. The whole field, in the top 25 I mean, is covered by less than a second and a half. Everyone's staying very tightly wound, even those involved in lengthy pit stops like Moore, like Sanders, like Middlemiss, are keeping up at the tail end of this pack here. No one has really lost the draft unless you're at Kyle Holden here.
Yeah, we're definitely starting to struggle more and more back there as well. So, right there and off the back as well, Holden with Medina. So he does have help, but it's not going to be a lot as those two are both, I believe, damaged race cars as well.
Cautions, precautions to get repairs done. This race is trending like it's going to stay green much of the way. Once again, the run building up on the inside, side by side, once again. And overall, what kind of goes through your mind at this point in a race like this where you know it's kind of draft locked? You have a lot of back and forth for the lead, yes, but there's nothing you can do except go along for the ride and log the laps.
There's really not a lot you can do. You probably start to get bored, which is when you can see some things happen, especially if somebody on the bottom gets bored and they're not really paying attention. They give up their left rear, which is, it's an aggressive move, but it's really the only way to move forward if you're in the bottom lane is to try to catch somebody sleeping and dip under them. So that's where we can get a little bit of excitement, but right now these guys are just exercising patience, trying to get to that next caution, next chance to make up track position, really. But the outside right now still making some strong progress. If those two on the top got clear on the bottom, I really do think that the top would dissipate. I don't know if anybody else has been able to push as well as Shane Wyatt and Coffee have all night.
See those gaps really building up. It looks like Johnny Shade backing up. Others getting three wide. That's Nick King getting shuffled out. I believe the 18 also getting freight train on the high side. Nick King trying to make the move right now.
Three wide on the top here. No help up there. It's going to be hard for him to keep even. Side drafting the 18 pretty hard down the back straightaway. Gotta be careful not to turn the 18 side draft and see Federplay is looking, trying to decide who to go. If King gets a good run there on the entry of the corner, but they're still going to be three wide for this position.
Bryce is doing as well as he is on the three wide. We, as you said, weren't expecting too much from that. The hole that he needs isn't opening up though. Kane and Wilson staying alongside each other, and Nick King just lost the help. Federplay's just about turned into him. And it looks like Kane gets a break. Federplace lets him back in line.
Federplay's exercising some caution there, not thinking going for that gap was worth it at this point in the race. Later in the race, though, Nick King may not be so fortunate to catch that break, but for now he's able to slot back in line and try to figure out a way to charge back forward once again.
Oh, that started with the 18 trying to make the move with the 91. Didn't work out in either of their favors as a result there. We did see Taylor amongst those who just moved to the bottom. Everybody else electing to stay where they're at and just continue. Oh, trouble! Kane's around! He bounced off car. Better Place getting hooked up. Middlemiss is around. Caution flag is out.
They were wrecking for a while before anybody fully went around. Took a while to progress, and that allowed more drivers to pile into it. See, required repairs for great cars, so more damage here to a 56 of Timothy Harper. Nick King with heavy damage, Jameson Middlemiss with heavy damage. We'll see how this one all unfolded.
with the Warrior Machine of King. Had some contact from behind. He is not happy. RS Butterbox's replay. Had a little bit of contact from Fetter Place, and then things got worse from there. Sometimes we've seen the pushes work into the corner. This one didn't.
Yeah, definitely not really much of a reason to be pushing Better Ivory. Not going to go anywhere back here in the pack. Take another look at it here. Better Place just, he just drove through the back bumper, and then you see just nowhere for all these people to go. Better Place gets in the middle and shoots him at the track. Heavy contact for Harper. You saw 25 that are heavy damage. Well, his night's over.
A lot of damage for some drivers. Here's Middle Miss. This was in the second layer. Chose the middle. Almost went through it.
Yeah, Better Place got bounced back up into him there. Otherwise, he would have had that miss. But just nowhere to go for all these cars trying to get through it.
Right there, that contact. Up to center sliding. Those hits to car did give him mandatory damage. A lot of damage now for some drivers. We'll see lengthy pit road service for a lot of teams. At least a quarter of the field coming down for some sort of repairs this caution. Some of it's minimal, others have plenty of it. Barry Sanders, believe, just finished all his repairs.
Good for the 81 to get back out there with a clean car, and still a lot of race left. We're not even halfway through this one yet, and I've seen a lot of attrition already taking place, so these guys need to calm down, get to the end of the stage, and reset moving forward and try to finish this race out clean.
So we continue to pace and get ready for a restart here. Coffee, Bikey, Wyatt, and Ruff, Wortman Jr. and Harper, Huff and Rogers, Coppola and Shade. Those are the top 10 drivers coming up to this restart, as it looks like Coffee is expected to hook up with his dig machine teammate. Will choose the inside line. It's not been that bad of a race so far. As we get ready for a restart situation here, Jeremy.
Yeah, definitely going to be looking at the upcoming restart here. You see Wyatt and Coffee now on the bottom, so I think those two lined up down there, this might change the complexion of this race, as those two have just been so strong together. They've shown that they're not only strong cars, but strong plate racers so far here tonight, so it'll be even tougher for the outside to generate runs with those two hooked up on the bottom.
Jared Clark just parked for the night after that incident, by the way. He joins Matt Cox in the official DNF list. And there's like Middle Miss car, Better Place, still spending a lengthy time in pit road. Paul Gallimore is still running. He is the last car running. Less than 20 laps to go in this stage. The Crazy Chuck's Purple Jesus Moonshine 250. About ready for the restart. Coming up to the SWM restart zone so far. Had one penalty for those jumping the start, the initial start. Medina just now is back on the lead lap. Green flag is out. Wyatt goes for the bump. Inside line moves forward.
Really interested to see these two get hooked up right away. You see Bikey trying to get down in front of Ruff. He was not clear. 14 lifted probably a little bit there to get him down. That would have been bad. Bikey almost turned himself across in front of the field, but you see no outside line. The bottom already completely single file for at least 10 cars. This is where this race can start to get really single file, and it's going to get even harder to make up positions. 42 back there is the first car on the outside.
And the outside not developing at all like it has so far this race. Trying right now, Harper is. Will it work out to be able to gain a lot of ground? It could be high risk, high reward for those up there. And the answer right now for now is no, they're losing ground in the corners. This is what we were expecting more so throughout the week.
Yeah, I think it took just finally getting two really strong cars up front on the bottom, pushing well, and you can see the top's just got nothing to it now. Here is Harper up there in the 42 in front of the 45. There's not a lot going on up there right now. No momentum moving forward.
Under 100 laps to go overall in the race, by the way. Now it's choo-choo train. Everyone just freight trading around the bottom of the racetrack as they make their way around here. And of course, worth noting for those who missed last week, Harper, amongst the several driver number reswap and change, Jeremy, a lot of drivers making changes for what number they were running as a result of things, including more shuffling to the 19, Norfolk for the 56, Fluger to the 80. So a lot of the drivers shuffling to what they run in a lot of other leagues for their number placement rather than having different numbers for different series.
Yeah, I'll apologize to Caden Orfrey as I realized that a little late here. I thought that it was Harper most of the evening in the 56, but Harper in the 42 now missed that one. That's on me. But 56 of Caden Orfrey was the driver involved in those incidents, not Timothy Harper.
So now, this is definitely just trying to chug for the stage points. Do you see somebody trying to make a move for the stage points or the stage win here, or does this stay single file like we've seen in officials and in some leagues in the end of stages where no one makes that move until the very end?
You really can only make that move if you're 100% positive somebody's going to go with you, so that limits the ability for it to happen, in my opinion, especially with two teammates up front. You know why it's not going to make the move unless it's coming to the line out of turn 4, so these two up front have a command of the race right now, and this is really what we were expecting to see here tonight. Just this inside line just so strong right now, nobody up there can get the top working.
See that outside, trying to get their way at least to some of the other Team Arrow cars. Aaron Matthews is up there as well in a line. Jeffrey Taylor is up there also. Bit of slotting around by some of the competitors now. See them trying to gain some numbers. Couple moves up. Wortman Jr. is thinking about it too.
Numbers are growing there on the top. That'll help the outside line start to move forward a little, but it's only going to move forward as much as those cars pull out. As you see, already kind of just stalling out to where the car is added. So more depth now, allowing it to be further forward, but no real track position gained by most of the cars that have jumped up there.
And outside, starting to make some inroads. Taylor, the third car in line. He's been inside, outside, trying different lines to see what really works around here. Looks like right now, things just work out the way they need to. If you want to be able to finish the stage clean, we're under 10 laps to go in the stage already. Matthews nearly took it outside for a moment.
That was just some of those ill handling effects. I don't think he was actually trying to make a move on the 77. You see the top though, starting to make a little bit of progress here. Definitely think the cooler track allows that to be a more viable option. Bikey's going to look to jump up in front of his teammate Coppola here. More cars to the outside. Teammates that should be better working together. This should help that line to make a charge. You see Coffee and Wyatt now though looking to block that outside line.
Trying to play the lanes. Bikey wants himself up front for stage points. Now the big block's outside. Now it's a block by Wyatt and Coffee. Lap traffic up high also. This is exactly what we're waiting to see with an outside starting to develop. Would there be the blocks? Ruff got loose on the inside. coming around a 6 to go in the stage as they're now all the way to the third line down the straightaways.
See that outside line right now with the blocks that have been thrown up there. Coffee and Wyatt now controlling that line. That leaves Kevin Ruff in the 14 and the cleaner on the bottom. He's starting to charge forward with Tim Wortman pushing there on the back bumper in the 83. That line now starting to pull back forward with those two working together.
And now Wyatt's going for the lead. Ditches Coffee. For the first time tonight, he is not on the back bumper of Coffee. Coming up to 5 to go in the stage. Now the Dick cars control the inside and the outside. But now Bikey already clear of Wyatt almost. Like that.
Wyatt. Sorry, go ahead.
I was about to say. Wyatt's trying as hard as he might, but Bikey is clearing down the straightaways by the tail end.
This is a good move for Coffee and Wyatt. They're controlling both. Oh, Kevin Ruff almost turns with 23 there. Good save by Shane Wyatt. But they're controlling both lines right now, so there's really nowhere for anyone to go to beat them as a team. One of those two should win the stages. Oh, Bikey actually splits Coffee, though. As I say that, caught the 54 sleeping. Coffee's going to go backwards here unless he finds a hole fast on the top. Might try to get down here in front of the 5, but he's not going to be able to as that closes up.
Coffee all the way outside the stage point range, just like that. First time tonight, he'll not have track position. No one willing to work with him except for a couple of the Dick cars at the back. That leaves Wyatt in control up front. Coming up to 2 to go in the stage. Coffee all the way back to 14th position. Still trying to hold on 3 wide. Will anybody make a run on the 23 up front? Here we go. Bikey's got it. He's got chance to move his way to the lead. Coppola, Matthews, Alonso's pushing hard. 27 to the race lead as they slide up. Sparks for the lap car.
Race each other hard. This will be the last lap of this stage. Outside's a little more formed up. You got 2 teammates here, but Shane Wyatt's got a strong car trying to pull that inside line forward, but Bikey's clear right now. He has full control to run wherever he wants down the back straightaway.
Does he try and block off the 23 or does he stay high side? He does stay outside. BMP cars 1 and 2. They slot down. Coppola tries to move down. Moves back up as Bikey. Wyatt's got momentum. He battles for second, but it's going to be Brendan Bikey who gets the stage. Coppola, Wyatt, Matthews, Ruff, Taylor, Wortman Jr., Sanders, along with Huff and King, all getting in the top 10 at the end of stage number 2, Jeremy.
Solid points for all those drivers there. You saw the BMP cars making teamwork up front make it matter most. Gets the 1-2 in the stage. Bikey was able to catch Coffee sleeping. That sent him all the way back to 12th out of the points.
Let's take a break. More coverage coming up. We're under caution here on Ballin TV. OB Builders Cup Series coverage continues after this.
take this anymore. Silent phone, yet deafening. Your shadow in the hall. Madness mixed with memory. Brace myself for the fall. Psycho dream, psycho dream. You haunt my nights, you wreck my days. Psycho dream, psycho scream. Can't break free from your twisted dream. Your whispers claw inside my brain. Every fight, every tear. Promises that went up in flames. Fueled by your fear. Vanished ghosts, leave me be. No more love, no more fight. Escape your twisted destiny. Chasing shadows every night. Bullet phone, yet deafening. Your shadow in the hall. Loud and phone, yet deafening. Brace myself for the fall. Psycho dream, you haunt my nights, you wreck my days. Psycho dream, psycho scream. Can't break free from your twisted dream. Your whispers claw inside my brain. Every fight, every tear.
Welcome back, everyone, to Ball and TV's coverage of the OB Builders Cup Series. Crazy Chunks Purple Jesus Moonshine 250 is now into stage number 3. This will be in about an 80-lap stage, 79 to go when we get the green flag here, Jeremy. Mikey and Wyatt ready to control things up front.
Yeah, definitely going to be trying to get together early with your teammates if you can here, if any of them are up front, but we'll see if this restart will. These drivers will all need fuel in this final stage as well, so that could also get interesting.
Oh, the outside line way far back. That is miles back for the Simrap Market restart zone. The top two pull away by 5 car lengths. Not sure what happened there, Jeremy, but they are, well, at least in EchoPark standard, it's gone for the next moment.
Yeah, almost too far ahead possibly, though, as you'll see Taylor just getting clear now with Coppola. These two should get a massive run on the back of these guys. You see it here. Are they going to take it anywhere, or are they just going to sit in line? It looks like Taylor may have cracked the throttle a little bit on exit there, not taking this run anywhere.
Stay lined up at the bottom of the racetrack as Coppola rides down there. Wyatt is not going anywhere. That outside line already dying off. It's already falling outside the top 5. Wyatt can't seem to get the numbers built up like earlier on in this race. They aren't working together as well as when it was teammates.
Yeah, he's just not really getting the push. You see Ruff getting to the back bumper there just for a moment. You see he's going to have a teammate jump up in front of him now. That gets him a little bit tight. He has to wash up not to hit him, but he's going to get to the back bumper of the 18 Wilson now and see if he can move forward with one of his teammates.
Now the interesting thing is we will have to see green flag pit stops in this stage. Keep in mind, Jeremy, that's going to be the major key. When do we see drivers peel on down? That's going to be the biggest question in everybody's mind.
Yeah, another question is also going to be, what is that call? Are you going to take 4 tires? Are you going to take 2 tires and less fuel? Will you see fuel only? You see Medina with a big moment there, 3 wide in the back of the field.
Dina getting up the middle. No one wanting to work with that 48 right now, as it looks like Christensen gets lined up. Medina moves to the bottom. Medina, mind you, as we said, is on the lead lap and is battling and trying to regain positions. All while Coffee, oh, this isn't a surprise. He's up front with the rest of the Dick cars, now on the outside, and now the outside's moving.
Coffee looking to recover from the issues that he had before, so coming back forward now with some teammates on the outside. They're making good progress too, as we saw the outside really struggle after that restart. Shane Wyatt really shuffled out of everything by all that. Is 4th in line now behind his teammates up here on the top.
hard right now, more amongst those who have had lengthy pit stop services in this race. There was an interesting call for Chris Davis, just noticed, for the pit stop sequence. Chris Davis is the only driver to have a 7-second pit stop. I believe he may have done fuel only or 2 tires to gain track position here in the 74.
Yeah, track position ever so important in Atlanta. Not necessarily a bad call. The issue is, though, these tires will age a lot over the course of the rest of this race. So not having 4 there limits his options later in this stage to where he almost has to take 4, and others may opt to take 2 or even none under green flag stops if we get to that point.
Settling down right now. Looking like that outside's got the charge, as we said, all the way up to the top 5. How long will it take for them to get alongside Bikey? We'll have to wait and see here. Obviously, that outside line, not the same level of urgency as earlier to try and get to the front with stage points. But track position is track position.
Yeah, every spot matters more and more now at this point in the race. I know 70 to go sounds like a lot of time, but it is so hard to make up spots here. You got to try to do it while you can, and this entire last stint of the race is going to be these guys working really hard to try to do that. But you see the outside just not really going anywhere. Corey Moore on the back bumper, seeing Alex Caulfield just not quite getting the pushes that they want out of the outside lane to progress forward. And you see the bottom starting to inch more and more ahead here, as they're just getting passed by everybody on the bottom right now. That's straight away.
Try and sort back out as the outside dies off again. Still 69 laps to go. The green light on fuel for certain is in about 10 laps or so for this field. But at the very least, full darkness in some time past 10 o'clock. For those wondering about grip levels at the moment, track temp hasn't dropped at all, Jeremy. In fact, it's gone up 1 degree.
A little bit of a change there, but not too much of a difference. Shouldn't really affect the way these cars are driving too much, but we do see that top struggling more, so maybe that 1 degree has made the top a little less viable for those drivers, but just nothing there on the top. You see Coffee now dropping out of the top 10 on the outside line, so the inside continues to progress forward, and it's just getting harder and harder for those guys to make progress up there.
Just maintaining that line as a team. All working out with Wortman Jr. still. All this, wow. Some of the other teams that haven't had cars too much up at the front are doing things. Team Aero, they're right now having Matthews up there. BMP's up there with a 1-3-4. So some of the organizations are finding the inroads, at least, to join into the conversation here. Seeing that right now, in particular, Matthews, who was amongst those who started way at the back, plus 25 tonight.
Yeah, definitely a big moving for the 5 car there. You see some of the biggest movers up there. Coppola and fourth, one of the biggest movers this evening. A lot of the BMP cars showing up on that list. They started out back, but they've all found their way forward at the end here. That team working together extremely well so far tonight.
So far, Taylor also once was moving ahead, plus 16. Couple up 14 as well. So a lot of drivers, as you'd expect at a track like this, making up the spots. Now they just pace themselves, riding around, trying to sort out how far they can get. And now it's worth noting, all but maybe 1 or 2 of the dig cars have moved up to the high side. Tim Wortman Jr. is the only non-dig car that's in the main grouping of cars up on the high side. So the whole organization has made it clear they prefer that second groove, as we were talking about.
They were trying to make anything work to move forward at this point. When you have all the team cars lined up, you might as well try something, but just nothing really of it for them right now. They've maybe inched forward here and there every few laps, but no real progress being made on the top right now. As you see, we're still just hovering around where they have been around there on the outside of Atwood and Sean Rogers.
Some apologies on the radio. Got involved to 77 to 9. Everyone's saying all good. And now 62 laps to work with. Plenty of laps to log down. Here's Medina. He's right now tail end out of the lead lappers now. And in fact, he is all over the place. He was your AASM pole award winner. He is not having a fun time tonight.
It's been a disaster since the drop of the green flag for him, as the next time around he saw a black flag, so had to pull down pit road, went 2 laps down, recovered back to the lead lap, but just does not seem to have the car right now to go up there and put up a fight.
It's just not been his night at all. Got the best track position you can ask for, and then threw it all away. He's even behind all the lap cars that are in the main pack right now. That's how much of the struggle bus he is currently. Coming to 60 to go. Oh, some offset 3 wide for a moment. Christensen having some pokes. Wortman Jr. got off the dig line.
Still just not a lot of progress has been made up there. You see they're a little bit further forward than they were a moment ago. You see Wyatt up here. Wyatt was a really strong pusher earlier, but he's 4th and lighter now. Nothing he can really do to help that line. You see him all over Wilson trying to help progress forward, but as the 4th car in the line, not much you can do, and I think he might be the strongest pusher of the bunch, and there's just not a lot for him to help right now, and no way for them to really reorganize themselves either to get them in the order they want to be.
Trying all they might to do something here. Only Harper is yet to move up. There's a chance he might become the lead car here. Oh, Wortman Jr. just moved up in front of them all. Smart play by the 83 to be able to leapfrog.
Shows the lack of progress that's been made by the top, though, that Tim Wortman was able to go and do that. You see Harper down there on the 42. He's even starting to pull forward now, and something needs to be found for these guys on the top, or we're going to have to find a way to make the strategy work for themselves. A hard push from Coffee to Tim Wortman Jr. Got the 83 really loose. He's still loose. Coffee's not getting off the back bumper, but we're going to put him 3 wide maybe. They're going to finally cut him the break right there down the front stretch, but cost themselves a lot of time there. Very disorganized and not some good pushes.
Trying. Oh, and Wortman Jr. bad push. In here we got turned around. Coffee lifts. What a save by the 83.
This outside struggling right now, actually finding a little bit of pace. So you see them all slam drafting each other up there. 19 getting to the back of the 54, getting to the back of the 83. So that's Corey Moore putting the momentum forward. That's what you need to do as the 3rd car in line. You have to be the one that generates the momentum for your group. And you see when they do that, they're moving a little bit forward here, Justin.
They're starting to gain ground despite that bad push. It's been a tug of war like that all night. We are in the green light to make it on gas, by the way. Right now, we should be able to see drivers make it on fuel. Already 27 laps in the run as Davis moves up in front of them. So far, Davis, he's been holding up very well on the 2-tire call. How long does that last?
Yeah, clean air on the nose should help that even more. He'll have better handling now than he did in line behind everybody. The issue is, though, he's not going to have as good of handling as the others do in clean air with 4 tires, so he may not be able to take pushes as well. But you see still surging a little bit forward here, but top line making progress ever so slightly lap by lap here.
Wortman Jr. stayed lined up to the back bumper of the 74 the whole back straightaway. Didn't make up a single car lane. Looks like Wortman Jr. getting big time checked up, trying to push. That 74 just is not getting the boost compared to the others right now. There's the little boost in the corners at least.
They're going to get hooked up again down the backstretch here. Oh, big moment there from Tim Wortman, though. We're going to lose that momentum, and they're going to start to fall a little bit back forward there. It's the issue now is they keep fighting in little spurts, but then they have one of these issues, and they fall back, and they lose their progress. Top right now, they hung on pretty well that lap, though, after 3 and 4, after a moment down the back straightaway.
Coffee keeps on taking some pokes. Matt Mackin did come down to pit. He's the only driver to come down to pit this run. So the 01, he adrift after coming down for service. Interesting call. That's going to put him at least a lap or 2 down here.
See, not using the optimal line on the apron here either. He's out of the banking, not running as hard as he could on pit exit, so he's going to get swallowed up by the pack down the back straightaway here. He's actually going to run on the apron too and let them all by. So 01's just going to let the field on by, see if he can hang on to the back of it, but definitely not going to do so. He's also going to run on the apron again, 3 and 4.
50 to go, this time by. Now, the outside line yet again is side by side for 5th. Seen this before. Owen Wortman Jr. starting to wash up. Some trouble's holding on as everyone else lets him check up and hold on to the grip.
Coffee was looking at that there. I think he wanted to put Wortman 3 wide, but didn't quite think he was close enough to really force it and gave him the break. But Wortman's going to have to be careful. He keeps getting that tightly, that much of a gap. Coffee might be able to capitalize.
Big checkups right now in some cases here. Belmonte was amongst those turn under caution at one point, by the way. He's doing a good job at the bottom of the racetrack amongst his pack. He's still side by side with all those running here, no more so ability on the smaller tracks per se. Has looked sporty this season in the 60, just hasn't had luck to show for it.
Definitely has had strong pace on occasions, and as you said, not having the results to show for it right now. That outside line starting to pull back forward again. They lost a little bit of progress, starting to get it back. You see Coffee was struggling to keep as close to Wortman right now. Pretty big gap between him and the 83. But up there on the outside, Chris Davis starting to inch forward. He's about to get to the outside of his teammate Coppola. That's further forward than they've been.
Now the highest they have been in a while on this outside groove. Now it's the question, can they keep it going? The outside disconjointed, not working as well together right now all of a sudden. Well, midway to the fuel run in general, past that point if anything. 46 laps to go in the race. And it comes to question, do we see Bikey move up or Matthews move up? Because the outside is charging.
It's all a little bit further back there. Corey Moore got forced to the outside 3 wide. He'll drop backwards, but this outside coming out of nowhere all of a sudden with a lot of momentum. Something's changed the complexion of this race as they're up to the 5 of Aaron Matthews now. The inside has just not been getting as much momentum down the straightaways as they were previously, and they're going to have a chance at Bikey here. Bikey might have to choose the block.
Chooses not to. Chris Davis has not led all night long tonight. It's been Bikey, Coffee, Wortman Jr., and Wyatt. That's the only leaders outside of Matt Cox that led a lap officially on the board. But now the 74, another BMP machine, temporarily takes the race lead. See if he's able to get a lead lap at the pylon. The answer is at the stripe, no. But he is close to that margin. That's the key thing. BMP now controls the inside and the outside up front.
The 83 of Wortman looks really strong, and he's able to stay very close to the 74 in the corners, gets himself just offset enough to get a little bit clear on the nose, and gets to pushing right down the straightaway, but Chris Davis clear. Bikey's going to take the commanding spot at the bottom now. We'll see what Coffee and Wortman can do as the first two on the outside now.
Wortman Jr. now wants the lead back. Davis did get the lead lap last time by. The 83 wants some more lead laps in their way. Coffee getting pushed by Wilson for good measure. Double bump draft doesn't get the move done for the 83. Davis has the speed on the inside to keep it alongside still.
Oh, a little bit loose there from Wortman. Big push from Coffee on the inside of the corner. Versus side by side for the lead. Still even here as we come out to the backstretch. Wortman's going to get a nice run down the straightaway, but outside keeps a little more momentum once we get to the straight line as these laps are flying by here, Justin.
Coming up to 41 laps to go. Davis still can't find a way to clear back. His teammate pushing him, still behind him. Oh, and a bad push. There goes the wiggle. Wortman Jr. takes over the lead. Apologies on the radio for the checkup. As it's 3 wide. Coffee takes it outside. He brings several of the Ardid cars with him as they shuffle Wortman Jr. out.
Wilson had a moment of indecision there. Wasn't sure if he wanted to go with Seaman or not. Ultimately decided to. They're going to get the wall there out of turn 4, but they're going to keep it going. You see all the dig cars coming around the outside of Wortman. He loses all that track position he worked so hard to obtain.
Finds saving grace right now in Rogers, but right now 3 dig cars now bump each other forward. The outside is completely discombobulated. 4 drivers just cut in front of Rogers, near contact behind them as well. So the dig machines shuffle out Wortman Jr. and shuffle their way to the lead of the outside line, and now we'll have to reset all over again.
In shuffling Wortman, though, they lost 5 rows worth of track position. Might not have been the best move for Coffee, as they lost a lot of time trying to make that outside work around the 83 of Wortman, and they've given up all that progress they made, and now we're going to have to work lap after lap again to try to find their way back forward to the front of the field and see Coffee there is in the 6th position.
Of note, Garks had rejoined the session, was about to see if he could join back in, believe. He popped the motor. So after all the repairs, the 32 just lost the motor anyway. Him, Clark, and Carr are still out. Big check inside yet again. Some drivers are starting to think that there's going to be a wreck incoming from what it sounds like on the radio.
See, just not much progress has been made on the top since they shuffled out Wortman. I think that 83 might have actually been the strongest car up there from what I'm seeing right now. He might have been the one really leading that charge, as we saw great pushes out of him, and then also when he was leading, pulling that line with him. Since then, Coffee has just been stuck right where he is, right here on the outside of Ryan Huff.
Hasn't gotten a lot of pushes from Wilson yet either. Wilson's trying to get to the bumper at least, though. When we get up there, to be able to get them grouped ahead is the major thing. No side draft efforts either. Coming to 35 laps to go. And now you have to start thinking about how these drivers will approach the pit strategy. 2, we might see some 2-tire, no-tire calls here at this rate with how things are looking. Even though 4 tires is more beneficial, Jeremy, at EchoPark, it might come down to how much time you spend in pit road.
Yeah, it's really an equation of how much time you're going to spend on pit road, obviously, and also how many laps you're going to be on those tires. If 4 tires will be faster than 2, but if it's a short enough span of time where the gap that... Oh, they're going to wreck.
Belmonte moved up. Coffee squeezes through. No caution. We stay green. And the entire outside and inside fall apart. Now Shea turns Christensen for the caution.
Sean Rogers ate the wall hard. You see the repairs required popping up there. His night is over. They had it saved, and then they wrecked again after the fact. And everything we were talking about green flag stops out the window. They're all going to pit under caution here, and I think 4 tires is probably going to be the call by most of these race cars.
Hard spun boxes replay. And that all started after the 60. Moved up, has been running inside this entire run. And for the first time, the Warrior machine moves up in this run to the outside. That car just did not stick.
You see, pulls up in the clean air there in front of Coffee. Coffee gets to the back bumper, and he's just loose. Nothing Coffee can do. Gets in the back of him, tries to check up, and you see everybody scrambling behind them, and then they went down and wrecked again after the fact here, just trying to get back in line.
And then they turn for the caution flag itself, the 20 and the 45. That's part of the checkup effect.
Yeah. They're taking pit stops now. We should see some people probably looking at 2 tires here, but I think a lot of 4 tires as well. Track position is going to matter, but I think there's a lot of laps that people are going to want the grip of all 4.
Teammate fire for the caution. They go into pit road. So how will these services go? Already 4 tires for Matthews. Not seeing really any strategy variation except for one. Timothy Harper just took 2 tires. Where does Harper cycle? Side by side for what is the race lead? It goes to Davis.
I believe Chris Davis may have actually taken... No, Davis did take 4. That's right, sorry, he did have the lead over Bikey entering pit road, so that makes sense there, but Bikey must have had a slow stop to be as far back behind those guys as he did coming off pit road, wasn't able to be a part of that battle off pit road.
Well, let's see if we can talk to one of the drivers here. So we're under caution. Believe we were going to talk to Shane White, but he just completely muted up in the in-sim sessions. So either way, things get interesting here in terms of this. Chris Davis, again, is your race leader. Let's about get set here. Let's see if we can talk with Chris Davis real quickly here as we get ready for a restart situation. Real quickly, Chris, how is the car handling as you get the chance to control the restart coming to 30 laps to go?
It's actually handling really well. Tim gave me great push up there on that outside. Besides Alex and those big guys, I haven't seen the outside really work, so jumped up there in front of him, and it was handling really good. Brandon was giving good pushes there at the end, so we got 4 fresh good fills on it, and we're going to see how it goes.
What's the strategy now to win this race?
Really just stay with the teammates. Stay with these BEMP guys. Big's going to be really hard to beat, so we need to stick together and make it last.
Let you get back to your team. Thanks for the time.
Appreciate it, guys.
Once again, that's Chris Davis getting ready for a restart situation. He controls the field. Timothy Harper was the only person to try a 2-tire pit stop. We've seen that work pretty decently for the 74 before. And now, tough thing is, Harper has nobody to work with teammate-wise. The rest of his teammates are about 10th on back.
Yeah, he's going to be trying to find a way to make those 2 tires work for him. He's going to have to find some friends in unfamiliar places here on this restart, though, to get that done.
Pace cars off as we come up to the Simrap Market restart zone. Green, green, green. Backing away. Good restart from the inside line. Decent one from the outside.
Much better start from the outside than what we saw the last time around on the restart to start this final stage. But you see just the two of them up there. Cabin Ruff, abandoned ship, found a hole in the bottom, got to the bottom line, and those two fall backwards. Just no help there on the outside. And they're single file for the top 5.
Top 4 for now. 5 drivers elect to stay up top side as Harper tries to maintain momentum. Matthews up there, Wortman Jr., Wyatt, and Atwood. Also joining in now is Sanders. Now the chess match tries to see can anybody break up BMP, as now they're the organization in control here.
Still falling backwards there on the top line. Nothing to it for Tim Harper so far on the 2 tires. Has Wortman in behind him. Wortman's been a strong car all night, but Tim Harper just doesn't seem to have the handling right now to lead that outside line. Battery just has not had the help. We'll see what they can do now as they get organized up there on the outside with some good pushes down the front straightaway.
We know how good Wortman Jr. was as the lead car earlier after a certain point. Oh, it looks like Matthews elects to jump back up after playing some leapfrog. Some of these drivers don't want to play the game of waiting. They want to go, and they want to go now.
Saw a car dipping below the red line there down the front straightaway. Look who's up in the mix now behind the 42, Tim Harper. Jose Medina in the 48. He's gotten himself back in this race up to P12. See, good recovery drive out of him. It's taken all night long, and you see somebody on the apron in the background.
Still going on strong for green as some of the drivers move up. And like one of the drivers getting shuffled out is Wilson. Oh, and Medina was on the apron. Medina is driving all over the apron in the corners. Now there's contact between Wortman Jr. and Wilson.
Medina lost spots doing that, but not a legal route to take. Not sure what the 48 was doing there, but he's up to P10 now. Actually ended up gaining track position because the outside line dissipating, but did lose a spot in line on the bottom. As you see the top, it gets it sorted out. No longer 3 wide. You see Alex Coffey there in the 54 starting to find his way forward. And more cars jumping to the top line up there in front of these guys, though.
A lot of these drivers can't make up their minds. Oh, it's a rewind again. Ramp the inside of Christensen. Takes Wilson and Matthews hits the wall. Christensen cuts off Coffey. This outside line is not working together at all. They are trying to get it to work, but are having a fist fight trying to do so.
And those are all dig cars, and not a single one of them can get along right now as they have teammates putting each other 3 wide, teammates throwing blocks on one another, and just completely disorganized. Here we go, Christensen diving the bottom now. He leaves his teammates there. A push to the back of the 56 from the 18 gets him loose, and here's Middle Miss in the middle. They're lapping that 16 car, and he's going to hold the middle line. That can get hairy.
A little bit chippy, more 3 wide. Middle Miss, someone still is drifting to the middle. Now some near contact on the 3rd line as they try and push forward. That's Wilson, Coffey, Wyatt, along with Wortman Jr. yet again working together. Looks like Moore's trying to join them on the outside too. No, Frey has joined to the bottom of the racetrack.
His dig teammates have just not been able to get organized or get along, and they have just lost time lap after lap right now. As we see on the inside of the racetrack right now, the first 14 cars are single file. That's side by side right there. That's for 15th place.
Davis controls things with Mikey in 2nd. Gopal, Ruff, and Huff amongst those in the top 5. Big run outside line all of a sudden. Christensen, you know who's also up there right now? Kyle Holden with damage. He has been able to fix all the repairs on the 59 on the rear end. And now he's in the conversation up high side.
Still some disorganization. You see Holden gets bumped and knocks it down to the inside line. He's back out of that line. So we have the dig cars all lined up again here on the top. But Holden clears Christensen getting to that bottom. He can pull up in front of him now if he wanted to. Just not able to get that top line working at all right now. You see Shade in the 45 moves to the outside of Holden behind him now to the outside of Belmonte in the 60. But Holden's going to ditch him as well.
Coming to 20 laps to go. Pretty clear Dig wants to be on the outside. But a lot of these other drivers just continuing to outsmart them here. Big loss of time for some of these drivers in the pack. Inside still the faster line with how discombobulated things look right now. And eventually, someone's going to have to try something outside of these drivers if they want to try and break up BMP for the race win. At this rate, they aren't going to get up there. They need to start doing something.
And been busy racing each other. You see Christensen trying to get to the bottom now there in front of Gallimore. None of these dig cars want to work together right now. They keep making moves on one another, and every time they do this, it is hurting them as a team. It is hurting the outside line. If they fall back, we saw somebody making the move on the apron up there in front. It's Christensen now is going to pull up in front of Shane. Oh, Feder placed one for a really tight hold, and almost put the 20 in the wall.
There, a close moment. Belmonte tries high side. No one wants to work with him. Mealy shuffled. Moore got over the place. Belmonte in the wall. Wortman Jr. hits him. We stay green as Belmonte is at risk of losing the draft.
Coffee now. Coffee worked his way to the front of all of his teammates. He's going to lead those guys now as he gets to the outside of better place there on the inside line. But just so disorganized this entire run so far to these dig cars. We'll see if they finally decide to play nice with each other and actually push instead of racing one another here. As there's only 17 to go, they have to start working together.
Meanwhile, more people moved up on the outside in front of these drivers. Holden yet again. Kane's moved up. Medina's trying to win this race. He just moved up and held everybody up. More blocks once again on the outside, coming around the 15 to go next time. Norfray now leads the outside line in front of Medina as now Wortman Jr. got a huge draft for the fastest lap.
We see cars jump to the top and they keep going backwards. Those who have stayed on the bottom shuffle forward every time this happens. Outside line just has not been able to get organized at all this entire run. We saw Norfray jump up, he abandons it, goes back down, he lost positions doing that.
And this outside's now coming together. Lap traffic coming up. It's like lap traffic's choosing middle of the apron. Don't factor Mackin out of the way. Oh, some tempers starting to flare. Some drivers are starting to push in the middle of the corner. Nicholas Atwood saying, it's time to go. We have to push.
Some more radio chatter picking up here. Nigel Christensen has Barry Sanders upset with him. The outside line still going backwards. Another moment there. Christensen almost got into the door of Medina in the 48. Medina was up in the top 10 and he's fallen all the way back to 13th with that move to the outside. Just nobody's been able to get it going up there.
Nothing doing with 13 laps to go. It's to the point where you have lap cars further up. And some of these leaders, oh, big checkup. Coffee now gets an air side draft down. He only ran over the back end of Holden's car. Running out of time to do something, anything, to get up to the front.
We're starting to see some gaps form on the inside line as well. Some of the more ill-handling cars aren't able to keep as close to those in front of them a little bit further up in the pack. You see the gap right there in front of the side-by-side. They're starting to lose touch racing each other so hard.
See a lot of those up high just not going anywhere. This is what we've seen all week. Difficulties making moves. Medina lost the bottom. He's getting freight train coming to 11 to go now in this one. All this has been wild. Chris Davis, Brandon Mikey, Kenny Coppola have stayed 1, 2, 3. Here's Sanders. Big head of steam. He peels off the 45 from the bottom.
Good move there by Sanders. Gonna hang out Johnny Shade, but he gets really tight here into the door of the 45. That could have been big, but they hold on to it for now. Lost a lot of momentum through the corner, but that gets some people behind them. Big runs Christensen to the back of the 5 is gonna shove them both down the front straightaway.
Able to zip forward as a result there. Sanders right now is running in the 12th position. 10 laps coming to 9 laps to go in the Crazy Chuck's Purple Jesus Moonshine 250. Now, the namesake sponsored car tries high side, now moves inside, now moves outside, now moves inside, moves outside. Pick a lane. It looks like he chooses outside.
He's going to go backwards again now. Just no help up there. Sanders is able to get by, and Matthews as well. Here comes Wortman Jr. to the back bumper, but they're still going backwards. Just no momentum. Coffee with the wrong decision there costs himself 3, maybe 4 positions here as the 20 looks to his inside.
At this point, Sanders, see the front end has damage. Still keeping up with the pack, though. Remember, we've seen the 54 really fast earlier on, but is he fast enough to gain all the spots needed at battle for the race win? That is easier said than done. 7 to go, and they are all the way back in 13th, 14th positions.
Yeah, meanwhile, further up front here, we're seeing more separation start to form. The top 8 have formed a bit of a gap. Atwood quite a bit in front of Norfree, but Norfree closed back in down that straightaway. The handling just not allowing these cars to stay close to each other to the corners anymore at this point in the run, allowing that top 4 or 5 cars really to have strong control of this race, especially the top 3 being teammates.
It's looking like the perfect race for drivers like Davis to break through for a win tonight on the Super Speedway at least. Mike Coppola also up there. 6 laps to go. Right now, the outside is only battling for about 12. Belmonte just chose to run on the apron, stays out of the way from everybody else as he's out of contention. Contact on the outside. Matthews nearly turned by Christensen. Now it's 3 wide again.
And all this battling taking place half a second behind Kyle Holden up there in the 10th position. These cars just have lost touch with the front 10, who are going to be looking to fight out this win if anybody starts to make moves, but they're all still single file up there.
Will anybody try and go for the race win? Take those cars up back there to the equation. 5 to go. And will anybody break rank and go for the win? Mikey continues to work on Davis as they come up.
Holden lost on the apron. Looks like he's going to hold on down there in pit road. We won't have a caution, but Kyle Holden spins on the apron. No contact at all. Goes around, and he's out of this.
Take him out of contention here as he gets loose. Great job being able to keep it out of the racing groove. Trying to save it down pit road. Oh, it's already peeled down to the pit box. 3 to go. And somebody has to make something work for this win.
Will one of the team cars up front get selfish here and make a move for themselves, or are they all going to stay in line until the final lap working together? See Ruff and Huff behind them. Can they mount a charge? You see Jeffrey Taylor, Tim Harper on 2 tires, Nicholas Atwood behind him. Somebody has to make a move if they're going to win this race.
EMP 1, 2, 3. Will they take that or will they be craving more? 2 laps to go. Right now, everybody riding against the red line. Will anyone make that move in time to battle for the win? Mikey goes for one more push down the back straightaway. Coming up to the final lap this time by, once again, field coming up to 1 to go, brought to you by League Gaming. Final time around at EchoPark.
Nobody's made the move yet. Atwood to the outside of Harper, but he has no help, and that doesn't matter. These 8 have broken away. Atwood in the wall hard, but something going to happen up front here. It's where the move's going to have to come from. There's Kevin Ruff to the outside.
Ruff's trying it. He gets alongside for third. Mikey's trying it. He goes back in line. Wolf tries the side trap for third. Checker flag waves. Davis gets the edge. Believe Huff got to fourth, but might be under review with the red line. But it's Davis who gets the win.
1, 2, 3 for BMP. They controlled the race as a team, and nobody could do anything to get around them. They brought 3 really strong race cars. Great strategy by Chris Davis. 2 tires on that previous run to get the track position, and he held on to win the race.
So it's the 74 car that gets to celebrate a race win. We've seen him be competitive all season. Tonight, he gets the job done. And it looks like he'll do some burnouts now.
It was fuel mileage at Michigan. Here, it is pure speed and teamwork. Great job by Chris Davis on the 74.
His second win this season. That's now 5 combined wins for the Davises.
And it is another driver punching their way into that multiple winner bracket of this season. A driver who's come on a little more as of late, and Chris Davis starting to make that charge through the summer stretch as we get closer to the playoffs.
Let's take it to a commercial break, why don't we? You're watching Ball on TV for tonight's coverage of Moonshiners in its racing league, the OB Builders Cup Series. Crazy Chuck's Purple Jesus Moonshine 250s. Coverage continues after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to EchoPark Speedway for tonight's coverage of the OB Builders Cup Series. Let's take a look at your unofficial race results. Chris Davis gets the win over Brandon Bikey and Kenny Coppola. Ryan Huff and Gavin Ruff in the top 5. Taylor, Harper, Norfray, Shade, and Coffee all get top 10s here from the Super Speedway.
Corey Moore comes up just short of a top 10 tonight in 11, followed by Tim Wortman Jr., one of the strongest cars all night long, and Barry Sanders, Nigel Christensen, Aaron Matthews in 15th, Shane Wyatt, and Nick King 16th, 17th. Jose Medina, a hard wreck on the last lap, ends up 18th, followed by Atwood and Wilson in 19th and 20th.
21st goes to Federer Place. Belmonte in 22nd, Holden, Gowie Moore, Middle Miss. Top 25, Mackin, along with Rogers, Carr, Clark, and Cox. The rest of the running order here tonight from Atlanta. So in the very end, Chris Davis able to come away with the race win. He's now standing by. It's part of his celebration. Chris, how does it feel to be able to get yourself another win on the season, this time to get it done at EchoPark?
It's man, it's amazing. Going in before Michigan, I wasn't even sure I was going to make the playoffs, and now to have 2 wins, man, I'm speechless. That's pretty wild there at the beginning. Kind of got caught up in 2 different wrecks, and really didn't think it was going to go my way. So to come out on top, I mean, I can't believe it.
What was the team chatter like knowing your team had a top 3 in a row lined up there? But what was that chatter like knowing somebody had to have gone for the race win there?
Actually, it was still nerve wracking because we have a thing that once it's to the last lap, the team kind of just does their own thing. We're all going for the win. We all need the wins for the playoffs. So I knew Brandon was going to pull out. I was just waiting to see when, and then I was hoping Kenny would go with me, but wasn't sure. So then whenever I saw that run coming on the outside, Brandon pulled out. And I was like, well, this is it. This is where he gets me. And thankfully, he didn't have a good enough run, and we were still able to get there first.
So with that being said, still a lot more action to go. Chicago coming up when it comes to the calendar. That's going to be a road course coming up on the schedule. Your thoughts going to the street circuit for 50 laps?
Survive. I am not. Thankfully, I keep winning before these road courses. I rode one before the Daytona road course, and now before the Chicago. Hopefully, I even make it out of there because I am not good at the right-hander. So we'll see if we even survive it. But I know Kenny Coppola's got a great set. He's been working on it a lot this week, so that TWRS set should be good out there.
Any shots you'd like to give after this run here tonight?
Yeah, I gotta thank BMP again. They're the reason why I'm in victory lane, giving me those pushes at the end. GMD Janitorial. I gotta thank Crazy Chuck's Purple Jesus Moonshine for sponsoring the race. I know he's been doing that the last couple of years, so we appreciate that, and appreciate you guys for the broadcast.
Congratulations on the win here tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Chris Davis gets the job done to win here at EchoPark Speedway. Bikey comes away in second. He is with Jeremy.
Bikey was a strong team effort. BMP up there, 1, 2, 3, holding on for the win. What more did you need to do to beat your teammate out of turn 4 on the last lap?
Well, I think what we really needed was those guys to try not to make a run at the end. Just wanted to, we wanted to make sure we had a podium sweep, and we got our job done there. I wasn't going to pull out unless it was 100% locked up, 1, 2, 3. And I tried to right at the end, but it was a little bit too late. So, we locked up the finish that we wanted, and, I'm happy, man.
Yeah, it definitely was a good finish for the team. How difficult was it out there tonight with the handling? Right front tires always a bit of an issue here at Atlanta. Were you getting really tight out there, or was that what led the inside line to be so dominant?
I think towards the end of the run, it was getting a little tight with my setup, but not much. I mean, my setup felt great the entire run. I think the bottom line is not necessarily dominant. It's just where the better cars were tonight, to be honest with you. Wherever the guys that had the really super fast setups and know how to drive a super speedway, whatever line they were going to be in was the line that was going to be dominant. So I think if Chris and myself and Kenny would have been up on the high line, I think we would have been able to do the same thing. But this bottom's just safer. Obviously, you have a way out if there's any kind of wreck that goes on. So we just held the bottom because it's the safest spot.
Oh, absolutely. And who all helps you get it done there on the 27 to put on these strong finishes?
Who helps me get it done? Well, it really helps when clowns don't self-spin and take me out. So I'm glad that didn't happen tonight. It's happened the last 2 weeks. They know who they are. So I always love when they don't do that and I can finish a race. But TWRS, Team Watson Racing, is a great setup company. They provide amazing setups. Kenny Coppola is the head builder for them. Sean Kaltenbach is a teammate of mine on BMP. He actually tweaked this setup and created this setup, and it was a rocket tonight. So I want to thank him. But all the drivers at BMP, I think you can tell by our finishes this season how many wins that we have. It's been a really great group to work with, and we've been able to help each other really take most of the wins this season. So love working with those guys, and appreciate you guys doing the broadcast. It's always a good time. And so I want to thank my wife. She always supports me. My dad watches a lot of these broadcasts. So I want to thank everybody that pushes me up to the win here.
Absolutely. We look forward to seeing you next week making some right turns in Chicago.
I will not be there, but thank you.
All right, well, thanks very much. And we are now going to go back to Justin with our third place finisher this evening, Kenny Coppola.
Yes, indeed, Kenny. Talk about tonight in terms of your progression of this field this evening.
Didn't have the very best qualifying effort. Started about 18th and the game plan from there was just to ride around and hope I don't get caught up in some crap that could happen here, and try to keep the car in one piece and take my runs when they come and try to advance forward. We didn't get too far up in the first stage. I think we only made it up to 13th or 12th or something, but pretty much just rode the whole first half of the race and kept the car in one piece, started racing there in the second half.
Overall, how would you describe the process? Your team mentioned you as a builder for setups, building setups when it comes to a track like Atlanta in EchoPark when it comes to this newer package.
It threw me for a curveball. I tried to build a little bit similar to how we were before the update, and the rear end was just slamming too hard later in the run. It would break the car loose off the corner, so I went back to work on Tuesday and Wednesday, and instead of just trimming the car out, building for speed, I went more towards the handling aspect, and it seems like it was a huge advantage. Not only are you still fast in the draft, but you got the handling to push on guys' bumpers or get pushed without getting the car free and losing grip. So from here on out, I think, at least for Atlanta, building for handling over just trimming the car out is going to be pretty crucial.
So with that being said here, now next to Chicago, your thoughts on the road course coming up here?
I've run quite a few laps there. I used to be the road course wizard out here, and these guys got sick of getting beat, so they started putting work in. A lot of them have gotten really good on them, but I think next week I might be the man to beat out there. I'm running 125s right now. I don't know how anybody else is stacking up, but looking at the officials, that's pretty quick right now. So I got a pretty good feeling about it.
Anyone who want to give a shout out to yourself?
Yeah, give my wife a shout out. My kids, they usually watch these things. My parents, want to give Barry and the league a shout out for putting this all together. Had a clean race tonight, a lot cleaner than last week at Pocono. And just all my teammates over at Beast Mode Performance. Those guys are awesome to work with. Locked out the 1, 2, 3 tonight. Team Watson Racing setups, GMD Janitorial Kistler rods, and Boomer button boxes.
Well, congratulations once again, Kenny, on the podium tonight.
Appreciate it, fellas. Also, thank you guys for the broadcast. You guys put on a heck of a show.
It's gonna couple running out the top three. I'd like to take the time to thank the entire top three for speaking with us during post-race coverage here on Ballin TV. But it's Chicago for some street racing next week, Jeremy. That's going to be a thriller.
Yeah, really tight confines. Going to be quite a few drivers probably missing some braking marks, piling into a wall. If that happens in front of people, there's nowhere to go. You may get some track blocking incidents. Not something that's really feasible in any of the other road courses. So should be interesting, very bumpy racetrack as well. So you got to be very careful under those brakes.
Once again, that's going to be an 8 p.m. start for coverage on July the 9th. Be sure to tune in here on Ballin TV. Time to say goodbye, though, for tonight's coverage of the OB Builders Cup Series. For our producer tonight and DJ Lyon, for my co-announcer and Jeremy Miller, I'm Justin Prince saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You've been watching coverage of the OB Builders Cup Series, the Crazy Chuck's Purple Jesus Moonshine 250 from EchoPark Speedway on iRacing. We'll see you next time from Chicago, Illinois.